More than 3 weeks after LA fires destroyed nearly 20,000 structures, the Palisades and Eaton fires are 100% contained. Recovery efforts are just getting going, but the path to emotional recovery from disaster is much less straightforward.
One local author knows the impact firsthand, having lost her own home in the flames. And joining us today is Palisades fire survivor Dr. Laura Gabayan. Good morning to you, Doctor.
Good morning.
How are you doing mentally? We know you have a book.
Sorry for your dramatic loss.
I would say the first week, all I did was cry.
Yeah.
And then now I've gotten over it. Not over it, but my book really helped me get through it. And I wrote my book because I noticed my body started falling apart. Excuse me if I slur my speech. And I defined wisdom. And the people I spoke with were amazing, resilient, and resilience was my first theme. So I kept thinking about them, and that's what got me through.
And when did that happen, the loss of, like you said, movement to your own control of your own body?
2013, I started to notice random symptoms, and slowly it just got worse and worse.
So you have your personal experience and it inspired the work that you've done, which we want to get to your advice to people, you know, as a doctor. But just really briefly, tell us about your experience with the Palisades fire. And did you ever think you'd be using your wisdom to help in a situation like this, yourself and others?
Well, it's funny because the book really, you know, it's fun. It took a lot to get to the book, but the book helped me get through the fire. And all I kept saying to myself was, things will work out. You're not a victim, you're a warrior, because that's what I say in the book. And things happen for you and not to you. And that was hard to understand, and that was hard to grasp, but that's what I kept telling myself.
Because you were telling us you lost your home and you've raised your whole family there, and they've had to move schools, and you've had to move cities, and a whole new life.
Yes. So quick. Like I was telling someone, I prefer to wear the same sweater I had 10 years ago over and over again because that's less change.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Anything where it brings consistency, you feel like you're leaning in on.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting. I guess you don't know what you will go through mentally until you're put into a situation, right?
And I told that I really just want to stick to consistency, but I don't have it.
You don't have it at all. You're leaning on 3 skills you call common wisdom to find your way through. And I really want to help people at home. So tell us about resilience, positivity, and kindness.
So it's funny because I wrote the book to define wisdom, and I scientifically defined wisdom in 8 elements, but I found 3 of them, the ones you mentioned, resilience, positivity, kindness, the first 3, as the ones that are the core ones. And kindness helped me adjust and kind of mend my broken heart. And resilience and positivity has helped me kind of get through this. And so with kindness, for example, my wedding photographer, you know, 18 years ago, found my pictures and said, okay, we can reprint it because I was lost in the fire. So the businesses around LA have been amazing, just being able to help us bring our clothes back.
So what is your advice to people who have lost a home in these fires or are displaced, and other survivors that are dealing with all these feelings? Because some of the stages of grief also include anger and depression and feelings that are really difficult, and sometimes it's really hard to, you know, find some of the qualities that you're saying help people, like resilience and positivity.
Really hard. And I have to say, deal with your emotions first. And that was just hard. And I was like, how can this be working out for me? How could this be okay? How could this work out? But you have to believe that things will work out. My advice is that no, in your heart of hearts, it'll work out.
Even journaling, I see you have a common wisdom journal.
So in March, I published my book, Common Wisdom, and in December, I published my journal because I had done a lot of interviews, and there are some questions in here at the end of each section, and everyone loved them, so the journal has more of that.
And then we talked about, you know, your message for people who are displaced. What about your message of how we can help others who are impacted?
I would say that take it one step at a time. Know that this too shall pass, but take it one step at a time. That, like, for me, it was important to know I had a place to live. or being something I mentioned here, fiercely flexible. Again, I apologize for my speech, but flexible in that, you know, each night where you stay is going to differ. You know, if you're in a hotel one night, you know, a friend's house, be okay with it. Just be okay with change, and things will work out.
Thank you so
much for offering the advice, and we're so sorry again about your home, but
Thank you.
positivity, you bring it all. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Dr.
Thank you for
Gabayan.
having me.
For details on her book, let's see, Dr. Laura Gabayan, lauragabayan.com is the website you can go to. You can also find her on social media, Instagram. You see the handle right there on your screen. We'll be right back.